Gyo by our beloved Junji Ito. I finally read it. Welcome to Check That Book, a special place on the internet where we get acquainted with some truly bizarre stuff. Usually the disturbing. It all started with disturbing books, and I still do at least a couple of disturbing books per month. But now we've grown a wee bit and we also do disturbing films, specifically film adaptations, obviously, because, yeah, disturbing games. And today I would love to finally talk about Gyo. I've even made some notes. Who else does that? Confess. It's way cool. Junji Ito, if you know me, if you know this channel, then I am quite an ardent admirer of Junji Ito's, and we've already covered Tomie. Yes, this is the Tomie necklace from way back. But of course, Uzumaki has been on this channel for quite some time, and we looked at various adaptations and so on and so forth. When I've spoken about Resident Evil 7 in the previous video, which for some reason wasn't a very popular video, but again, maybe disturbing games aren't really my thing, but fuck you, I loved doing Rusty Lake, and yeah, it depends on the game. Can you dig deeper than what I've done previously? So I've made some conclusions, and if you guys consider Resident Evil 8 a disturbing game, let me know, because I really love that one. I'm in love with that one perhaps even more than with Resi 7, but games are games, and we're not going to talk about games today. Today it's all about Gyo. You guys, what's it about? Now, for starters, what does Gyo even stand for? I do not speak Japanese at all, and I've done a wee bit of research, and as much as I understood, Gyo has many meanings, and one of them is basically, well, fish. Like this squirming fish kind of type of thing. Fuck, I'm so stupid. Vamps, if you're out there, or any other Japanese speaking people, come at me, explain Gyo, and start a conversation in the comments. Cheers, guys. Respectfully, of course. But let me introduce you to it. So first and foremost, you have to note that it is again, as always it is with Junji Ito's books, it is a very well created, very well crafted work. So basically, we have at the center of the story a young couple who suddenly stumble upon some weird shit, and it's accompanied by stink, a stench, disgusting smell that is all over you, and it gets attached to you, and you can't get rid of it. And well, we finally get the epic reveal. You see, no matter how many times you wash it off, the stench still lingers. It's horrible, actually. So we finally get the reveal. What was the stench all about? And it turns out to be this. The thing with Gyo is that, again, like most of Junji Ito works, it is very detailed, very descriptive, and thus, taking the concept to account, very disgusting. Ito conveys human emotions very well, as usually. Look at this art. I mean, it's terrifying, in a good way. Basically, yeah, this is what happens at some point. I'm not going to spoil. If you know, you know. This isn't just a fish on legs attack. This is sort of a disease, but at the same time, not really. This is the cyberpunk slash, I don't even know how to call it really. It's engineering gone very awry. And if you think of these fish as weapons of war, then, well, you might be correct. Various fish and sea creatures started coming out of the sea, and they were all on these metallic legs that look man made. And of course, eventually, when the fish carcasses died and started to rot, look at this. Look at this art. Jesus Christ, this is horrible. But we love it. Eventually, those apparatuses started to, attack and take humans as their hostages, as sources of the stinky gas. This is such a bizarre roller coaster, and done so incredibly well that you will be appalled reading this. I found Gyo to be extra nightmare fuel because, again, much like with the previous video on Resi 7, if you suffer from arachnophobia, or more likely entomophobia in this case, you are not going to enjoy Gyo very much, because it's so easy to imagine that those fish that come out on those disgusting metallic legs, it's so easy to imagine. If you're not frightened by this, imagine they're insects. And imagine, for example, this scenario. So our protagonist falls into this pit, full of those fish, and they're also start nibbling on him. This is a horror, nightmare fuel stuff. This is terrifying. So if you imagine that, then congratulations, I just gave you a tip on how to be petrified and not read Junji Ito's Gyo. But in all honesty, it's done so beautifully in a sense of it being so meticulous, so anatomically accurate. You can't help but stare, even at the most gruesome of scenes. It's just so well drawn, done by one guy. Admirable. So yeah, I started telling you about the story briefly, and I digressed. So basically, yes, our couple stumbles upon this stinky fish business. The girlfriend gets infected, and all hell breaks loose. Not only does this couple encounter this atrocity, but also the entire city, and eventually entire country, and towards the end of the book, entire world. This is, again, this apocalyptic kind of genre that I normally care not for. I speak Shakespearean. I really couldn't care less. It can be scary and terrifying and very realistic at times, but this is so well drawn that I couldn't stop myself. I needed to finish this, even when at times it seemed to drag a little bit, but it's not in a bad way. It's just, in my not so humble opinion, Gyo has more illustration than it has text, unlike with, for example, Tomie, where there was, I think, a perfect look at this. Now look at this. In Tomie, I digressed again. I'm so sorry. I'm distracted. With Tomie, it seemed like a perfect balance of text and illustration. We get a surface level explanation about what's going on, and that the uncle of our protagonist is involved. He's a mad scientist, sort of, right? Yeah, but he too falls victim to his own creation, so to speak, kind of like a Frankenstein moment here. But we don't get a proper explanation. And you know what? I don't think it's needed here, because we are here for this, for the disgusting and crazy stuff, and we are here to be horrified. Now, Gyo is definitely not the most disturbing manga out there, but at the same time, it is the one to feast your eyes upon in a sense of it being. It's very detailed, very interesting to look at, and perhaps get inspired to sketch yourself. I know a couple of people who actually started drawing and creating images, started with Gyor after looking at Gyor. It's just, again, all of the sea creatures, they're so well done here. And who thinks of this? Look at this abomination. Imagine a great white shark walking up towards you like this and hunting you down on the streets. This is crazy. This is batshit crazy, and we love it. This story is bonkers in all of the best ways possible, I believe. I had fun reading this one, and again, it's so marvelously done. I'm so happy that I finally have Gyor in my Junji Ito golden collection. I call it golden. I'll showcase next time I'm doing a Junji Ito video. I'll showcase my collection, and I'm glad to have read this one, and it has a couple of juicy bonus stories at the very end of the book, which we always appreciate. So that's that. If what I've shown you today looked good, and I know it did, if you can stomach this one, yes, of course. One side note here, despite it being grotesque in its imagery, Junji Ito has a great talent in this regard. He never goes into being pornographic. It's so easy when creating manga. It's so easy to derive from the path and, choose that direction, even not purposefully, but just because you can. It's manga. Well, no. It doesn't always have to be that way, and Junji Ito does an excellent job. It's never erotic at all. At all. Even his women, they aren't really sexualized. They're just women, and women are naturally sexy half the time, so it's okay. There's nothing. I mean, Junji Ito never disrespects anyone. That's how I feel about it. He just, no, if he has to show disgusting, he'll show you disgusting. Not as disgusting as Outlast 2, but still. So yes, if you want a proper horror manga with lots and lots and lots of grotesque but neat illustrations, Gyo is your choice. Thank you so much for watching. If you like unorthodox content, consider giving this video a boost in the form of an erect thumb, and make sure to subscribe for more. I will see you all as soon as possible. Meanwhile, make sure to take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Start with at least that. Then maybe the world around you will start changing for the better too. That's a weird, positive message coming from someone who does disturbing content. Thank you once again, you guys. I'll see y'all as soon as possible. Goodbye.